Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to The Sims 3 and to my Sim City project here. I just wanted to do a quick little intro because we have quite a bit to talk about and I have quite a bit to share, I suppose. I mean, this episode is about an hour long, so I guess I have got to talk my way through it. I should really learn how to cut and splice and edit things, but that's for another day, I suppose. Today's episode is kind of interesting because we are making our way back into Blue Water Village. We have an entire suburb really to build upon, and there's a lot of lots to build out here. And if you saw it in the beginning, you would have seen me pick out one of the saved houses in the lots bin and place it and use that. And I know what you're thinking, like, how is this a build? Well, the thing is that I am, like, if you remember from before, I had built another house, except it was unfinished, and it was sort of like a house that was built as it was under construction, and yeah, I'm going to use that house, and I'm actually going to build out the furniture for that. So we're doing it on this particular lot here of the neighborhood, and we're just really going to get started with it. You see, the vision for that episode was to always use that house as the exterior and to actually build out the interiors and to, to decorate it and to really give it a story and everything. So this is something that I really wanted to do, and I just wanted to change the exterior of it, of course, to make the colors a little different, sticking with that blue water palette that I have continued to talk about in the suburban build episodes for a while now. And so yeah, with today's build, we are going to finally be fulfilling the full potential of that previous build, and I think that it fits the neighborhood quite nicely. I do like the floor plan of it, to be honest with you. I do think that it could use some tweaks here and there. However, as I was building out this house and as I was furnishing it and everything, I kind of tweaked it here and there just to really make it actually work for the space. And so I think that that's what really helped to make it a little special, and to really make it feel more realistic in what I was trying to accomplish here. So yeah, we're back in Blue Water Village, fulfilling the full potential of that under construction house. And I've got to be honest with you guys, after building out the cyberpunk apartment block, I needed to take a really long break from The Sims 3. Like, this house build was enjoyable, but the cyberpunk block really took a number out of me, and it kind of, I don't want to say it deflated me from pursuing this project, but it definitely made me take a break from it. And I guess that's kind of why, in a sense, I have been publishing other videos on my channel just to try to give a little variance here and there, see kind of what sticks and what's gonna work for what you guys want to watch. And I'm still gonna throw some spaghetti at the wall here and there, but truth be told, I don't mind experimenting, and this YouTube channel is honestly just a fun hobby for me. So it's not like I'm taking it too seriously. I don't necessarily need to make this my career. Like, would it be nice to, like, would it be nice if it took off or whatever? Sure, but this is more like an enjoyable hobby for me, and something that I particularly just enjoy doing and enjoy spending my time doing. I enjoy to an extent when I'm just playing these games, recording the videos, and editing the videos and everything. Well, what I think is editing, at least. And it just kind of makes for a really nice little hobby, like something that I don't have to take too seriously. And yeah, that's kind of how I've been treating this channel. And I know that a few of you folks have, like, really enjoyed downloading some of my lots, and that is much appreciated and everything. But yeah, it kind of makes me, as someone who is well into their adulthood, feel less like a child playing a game like The Sims 3. But luckily enough, The Sims 3's aesthetics isn't as, like, kid-like, unlike its successor. I don't know, you guys, like that just feels like a kid's game to me. But let's actually talk about the house now. So my vision for this house is actually to use a lot of green in the coloring. Even though the exterior is blue, I kind of like the idea of having a contrast. Well, I guess green can be complementary to blue in many examples, but having a different color as the main motif on the interior of the home was something that I really wanted to have and use as a contrast to the blue exterior here. And so I really wanted the green color motifs and everything here, and pretty much the mood board for this particular house. It was something that was very green, something that was very relaxing and tranquil. So those were definitely the vibes that I was going for when decorating this house. And yeah, so there were a lot of like naturals and woods that I wanted to complement it. It's kind of like if a spa was a house, this would sort of be it, but a little more contemporary as opposed to more spa like. And you'll definitely see like some of those other edges like throughout this home, like particularly in the fireplace choice that I decided to make because I felt that the fireplace was a great opportunity to kind of break away from all of this like relaxing, natural, tranquil vibes with something that had just a little more edge to it. But I'm kind of getting ahead of myself here. I do want to talk about the stairs actually, because the stairs are very important. I've mentioned this in previous episodes before, but the stairs are totally a focal point in a house, especially in a single family home. And it is a main point of focus, and the stairs, no matter what, in my opinion, like especially in a two-story home, is always going to it's always going to be a focal point. And so, you know, not having it displayed or built as some sort of a feature is really doing the stairs and the space and the home a disservice, in my opinion. I know that there are examples out there of homes that just kind of throw their stairs there and they're purely functional. Like I'm thinking of narrower, more urban homes. And yes, we will get into builds that are more like that. I did one in Bridgeview a long time ago on this channel, and I can't wait until we actually get into Bridgeview again, because I have a lot of changes that I want to now make to that neighborhood, but that is something that is a little further down in the future here. Again, I'm getting a little ahead of myself. But anyways, stairs are very important to me, and they're very important in the home. Not only are they, well, especially in a single family home, like I mentioned, a very strong focal point, and I would even argue a feature of the home. They also serve as something that needs more engineering more engineering and structural consideration when actually building them. And that is something that is going well beyond the game mechanics here. But the reason why I bring up the stairs here is that I decided to choose the curved stairs. That these are objects, by the way, the curved stair objects from the Sims 3 store. It came with the Abandoned Mansion set. I absolutely love that set for all of the objects that it gave. Like there's such a creative way to actually use those objects. So it was something that flew under the radar for me at the time that it was released. However, now that I am much older and have much more of a refined vision on the builds that I want to do, a lot of the objects that came with that set are just absolutely great to use. But anyways, I used the curved stairs here because I wanted it to be a feature of this home. I used it in the construction episode, of course, but I'm using them here, and I'm finally fleshing them out and making them realize the potential that they deserve to be recognized as. Now, the reason why I decided to choose the curved stairs is because, like, if you've seen on this channel, I have used that whole trick where you, like, to get stairs with landing to your second level, you build like a foundation and you use the constrained floor objects cheats. And maybe it's just me that isn't very good at actually building them, but I find that they cause a lot more problems. Like especially in the crumple bottom, it's like the crumple bottom mansion build that I did way back when I had to put those stairs in the middle of the house. And actually, a more recent example would be the other 2-story Blue Water Village home that I built. I put stairs with landings in it, and it does something weird with the walls. Like, it creates a weird little gap, and I feel like that just impacts the layout of the home just like way too much. So in this episode, like in this build specifically, I am trying to find some sort of a compromise for like avoiding to use stairs with landings. And I really hate that, because having stairs, like especially to a second level with a landing, is super realistic. And yes, there are objects out there that you can download. However, the animations don't work well, they don't work perfectly, I should say. I think that the modders who designed those stairs with landings, and I'm talking about like one set in particular, and I'm not trying to put them on blast or anything, but I think that they've done a wonderful job on them. It's just that it bothers me as a player so much, to the point that the animations aren't perfect, and that's not to the fault of the modder at all. It's the limitation of the game, and likely the limitation of the tools that can actually work with the game to make those stairs happen. So I'm not blaming the modder or anything of the sort. I'm just saying that that particular stairs with landing object is just not right for me, because I know how it functions in the game, and I just don't like the way that the animations interact with it. That's just really it. You guys can download it, of course, if you'd like. That is up to you guys. But for me as my player in my game, and for these builds, I don't want to use that object because I know it doesn't work perfectly for me. So that's kind of my gripe with it. But it's really a shame here that, creating stairs with a landing in The Sims 3 is such a, it's so, I don't want to say controversial, but it's so picky, and it's so, it compromises, that's the word that I was looking for. It compromises the layout of the rest of the home just with the mechanics of the game. And so that's why I have been avoiding using stairs with landings, like since that Crumple Bottom Mansion build, and since the Blue Water Village 2-story home build that I did months ago. It just doesn't look right, and it compromises the layout so much. So this is my way of trying to this is my way of trying to find a good middle ground. And so I'm curious as to what you think. Like, if these curved stairs and the way that I had set them up makes themselves look like a fairly realistic feature stair. I don't know, like, they are very upscale, I will give them that, and I have used them in other builds within my world here, but I'm just like, I don't know. I like them, but the plain stairs can also work too, and they just don't compromise the layout. So I might just go back to using just the regular stairs. Like, it's interesting because technically, like, with the way that I build basements, and with the fact that I'm building basements underneath a foundation, technically there is a landing for them, but it doesn't work when you're trying to go up a level. It works okay when you're going down a level. In fact, I would say it works perfectly when you're going down a level, but when you're going up a level, it doesn't so much. And actually, strangely enough, in The Sims 2, there was that stage object that you could place, and it was kind of like placing a foundation within an indoor space, and stairs would interact with it quite nicely like that. So you could create pretty nice landings with The Sims 2, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I played that game, so I don't know if I am even remembering that mechanic accurately. I know I never actually built stairs like that in The Sims 2, but I'm getting way off topic here. We are in the kitchen, and before I got to the kitchen, I had to replace a lot of doors and arches, and so I had to decide on a color palette and a material palette pretty early on before I even got to that. However, in the kitchen, I do continue on with that green motif. That is something that I want to bring throughout the entire home. Not just one room, and not just like the main rooms. I want it throughout the entire home. And the reason why I chose green, again, it's for those tranquil and relaxing feelings, but I love the color blue so much, and I actually know somebody in my life who loves the color green just as much, if not more. So it's kind of like I'm kind of like it's kind of like I'm dedicating this to someone that, um, just to someone that I know, and we're not even close like that or anything, but it's just like a quality that I appreciate of them. So it's such a silly quality. It's such a grade school quality to appreciate somebody's favorite color. But I'm like, okay, if this person lived in this house and they decorated it themselves, would this be the color palette that they would choose? My guess is maybe. I decided to go with more of a sage green palette, just because I find that to be more relaxing and tranquil. So it's like I'm trying to, yeah, I try to make this house a little more personal than what I make other houses and all that. And yeah, I don't usually do green kitchens. And at one point, I really had to reorient it because I thought I was going to make it this huge thing. And then I realized while I was in the middle of making it that I just needed to make it simpler, and I just needed to actually reorient it so that it would face a different direction for its main focal points. And I was lucky enough to make the kitchen space large enough to fit quite a large pantry in there, actually. And I even put in one of those stove objects from the Sims 3 store, and the set is escaping me, but I've placed it many times and many lots, and it allows you to create preserves and to create jam and all of that. So I decided to kind of put that in there in that space. So it's kind of like a pantry slash spice kitchen, if you will. Hands down, the biggest challenge of this build was figuring out the dining room because it was in kind of an awkward shape, if I'm going to be completely honest, because the windows are not centered in the dining room. Part of the wall has the garage on the other side, so I couldn't really change that without completely changing the setup of the garage, which I really love the garage for what it was. So I didn't want to compromise on that. And plus, like with the windows that I had decided to use, I wanted them to be two-story windows, so there was like open space above the dining room just to make it feel more grand. And so I placed a hanging chandelier just centered on those windows. So because the chandelier is centered on the windows, it means it's off center from the rest of the dining room. So that kind of made things very complicated. And that's like the one thing about this particular house build that I kind of regret and want to go back to the drawing board for. I just really wasn't thinking of anything that I could change from there. So what you're going to see is you're going to see me jump around from the dining room to the entrance and then back to the kitchen and then finally back to the dining room. I was kind of like avoiding figuring out what that dining room was going to be. And yeah, I didn't want to compromise on the layout. I didn't want to compromise on the exterior of the home either, because I love the exterior of the home. I love its layout for the most part. It's just that this dining room was just giving me such a bloody headache. Um, but yeah, I also wanted the dining room to be accessible to the kitchen and also to the hallway, so it's something that you can easily just kind of like walk into. So there was a lot of stuff that was going on with this dining room that I needed to accomplish, and it was just like it was just like a really weird space to work within, and the spaces that were just like directly adjacent to it, like if I deleted a wall and extended it or tried to shorten it, it would just make it even weirder. And the solution that I ended up with the dining room, I think is okay. So I'm like, I'm not too sure how I end up feeling about it, but I think it's passable. And that's what I really, had to compromise for, is just like passable with the dining room. I think it still looks pretty okay, but I was really going for passable, not for not for something that was going to just blow you away with its amazingness, because that definitely didn't happen this time. Um, I also had to figure out the entranceway, and this is something where I found myself leveling up with a little bit because I used a closet here, which I know seems very obvious. Like, why haven't I been using closets throughout all of the other builds? Well, the reason is that I don't know. And I wish that I had put more priority on front entrance closets. Like, I know I've done it in a few builds, like I did it in the penthouse build, and I think I might have done it for a couple of other builds as well, but a front entrance closet totally makes sense to have in these homes, and it makes sense for any home really, because you need a place to put your coats away as soon as you get it. And I haven't been doing that. So yeah, the front entrance got a lot more attention this time around, and I use closets, I use pillars, and Sims can actually find their way through the home through the front entrance. Like, I was doing some testing with this lot as well, just to make sure that the pathways were all fine. And like I said, I do testing with all of my lots here just to make sure that Sims can like, their pathfinding isn't an issue. And like, I look at some Sims 4 builds out there, and I'm not trying to put anybody on blast or to disrespect them blatantly, but a lot of them look very crowded and cluttered, and I don't know how Sims would actually navigate themselves through some of those spaces. Like, to me, I feel like they wouldn't. Like, they would shout and wave their arms in the air or whatever they do in the Sims 4. I don't know what the hell they do in the Sims 4. um that's not my kind of game, that's not my cup of tea, and I'm not hating on it, but I look at a lot of those cozier and those clutter filled builds, and I'm just unsure on how Sims actually interact with those environments. But hey, that's just my thing. My thing here is just that I want to test things and make sure that things are still actually functionable. Speaking of which, like, when it comes to these closets and some of these objects, I'm actually finding that Sims have a pretty high tolerance for it, because with the pillars that I used in the entrance, I had to use move objects, obviously, but I also had to use the alt button to like slide it into a wall, and it looks great. And I was just like not sure if Sims were going to be able to find their way past it, but they do. And I know that, like, with those Cambodian blinds objects, which is something I've been using for closets, for closet spaces since for a little while now. I know that Sims can actually like walk through those blinds, so you can use them as room dividers, and it won't impact like your Sims pathfinding abilities, if that makes any sense there. So yeah, there's like a really high tolerance for Sim pathfinding in The Sims 3. I find, at least. Like, I'm trying to give the game credit here where it's due, and I'm giving it credit there. So yeah, I might have to, like, when we get to a Blue Water Village edit episode, which will actually be sooner, now that we are finishing up this little block here of Blue Water Village, because I'm not going to do an edit episode of the entire neighborhood. I'm going to divide it up into little blocks like this. Like, once we finish up the next Blue Water Village lot, the episode after that will be the edit episode. And then we'll kind of like tackle things there. But yeah, I might have to redo the other houses just so I have like those entrance closets. I'm not too sure if I'm going to be able to for the modern home, because I don't know, for some reason, like, I'm thinking that there might not be space for an entrance closet. I just might have to get a little creative with that. But anyways, what surprises me most about today's episode is how long it is. And it is something that really shocked me when I was in the editing floor and recording the audio now, the night before it gets released, if all goes well. That's how I'm spending my Friday night, you guys. That's how you know I don't have a life. But anyways, this episode really surprised me about how long it is, because it's like an hour long and it's mostly just decor. So either I'm like really being detailed with it, or I just spend a lot of time in interior design for all of my homes. So that's something that's like I've kind of noticed in myself. But anyways, like, for the entrances, I feel like I've upgraded and up leveled from there. I've gained a level in experience, I suppose. And so I'm gonna have to make note here to do some sort of an entrance closet for all builds going forward. There are, something that I talked a little bit about it earlier on in the episode, about adding a little bit of edge to this home, despite it trying to convey like a more tranquil and relaxing feeling. The way that I added edge was just really adding in some country and rustic elements here and there. Like I'll use some of the lights from the Pets expansion pack, for example, and it just kind of adds a little bit of rustic charm in certain spots. I'm not very strong in the rustic decor, especially in these builds, and eventually, maybe one day, I'll really lean into it and challenge myself. But today's not that day. I just wanted to introduce some rustic elements and some like maybe country elements here and there, just to kind of give the decor and the feeling of this entire home a little more depth and a little more story and a little more warmth overall. You are going to see me build out an office here on the main floor. This came from direct inspiration from a lot of the McMansion videos that I was sort of like watching at the time, like on YouTube Shorts or whatever. And I feel like it's kind of a flex to have like an office, just to like have like a separated office space within your home, and like that's a bit of a flex. And looking back on this build, like this could have easily been like an in-law suite if you really wanted to make it that. I do add an in-law, I do sort of add an in-law suite into this home, but that's just going to be on the second story, which I know these are elder Sims that need to walk upstairs, and I'm forcing them to walk upstairs, and wouldn't realistically be called an in-law suite, because you either want to keep them at ground level or you want to keep those in-law suites like a very short staircase down a level or something. So accessibility is top of mind, and the in-law suite that I decided to create for today's build does not take any accessibility needs into consideration, unfortunately. Pretty soon we are actually going to be moving on to the backyard build for this house, and you know what, I gotta be honest with you guys, backyards are not exactly my strong suit here. I feel like I do them well enough, but I'm definitely not making them the showstoppers of the lot builds for any house that I've built so far. Like the exception, of course, I guess would be like the Crumple Bottom Mansion or the Goth Manor. I guess that those would be as show stoppy as I could possibly make a backyard, is like looking at the two of those, which I actually stand by the Crumple Bottom. I think it's the Crumple Bottom Estates backyard, because that actually does look pretty great, pretty phenomenal, and I was doing a lot with it. But anyways, the backyards here in Blue Water Village are very much going to feel very copy and paste, I should say, and that is kind of intentional. Like, this is a suburb after all. This is all about those single family homes, middle class, and we are looking at those white picket fences. Although, like, for this neighborhood, I've chosen not to use a white picket fence, but we are using a white fence. So it's very much like on the nose. Like, this is your suburban lifestyle living that you want your Sims to experience while being in SimCity. So this neighborhood is that experience if you want them to have that suburban life. And the rest of the world is, of course, going to offer different experiences, because we've got the downtown island there, the downtown core, and that's going to offer, a more urban experience, obviously. And then eventually we're going to get into some rural builds when we finally leave Blue Water Village, if we ever do. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of point that out, that the backyards in Blue Water Village are likely going to feel very similar to one another, and that is something that is totally intentional. Like, some will have pools, some will not. Some will focus on more family fun living, kind of like what this one is doing with its pool, with its outdoor seating area and barbecue. Others will focus maybe more on gardening. It really just kind of depends on what I'm feeling whenever I'm actually getting into the build and building it out. But yeah, this, we're not reinventing the wheel with this backyard design at all. Like, we've got the pool, which, you know, helps to fully realize the potential of the pool that I was digging out for the under construction build. So that's kind of nice to like have a little bit of storytelling there. But then we've got a pergola over the dining, like the outdoor dining set there, and that's completely fine. I'm of course using the outdoor living set, which I feel offers like the best outdoor objects in the game. I would even say, like, even compared to DLC that other players have made, like I would probably still gravitate towards the outdoor living set, which is a stuff pack, and it's something that I, you know, stand by. But yeah, like I'm really not inventing anything new. I'm not reinventing the wheel here. I'm just making a backyard space actually feel like a suburban backyard, and that is completely okay in that intention there. I am adding in some tropical plants just to kind of convey that Sin City again is in a much hotter climate. I'm thinking it's something that's sort of similar to, like, I don't know, like San Diego, or like I would dare to say Florida, but we've got some crazy elevations here, so maybe Florida's not the best example. But I've always imagined that my world of SimCity, like in the lower regions that are closer to the sea level, like they're going to feel a lot more tropical. But then as you go up in height in certain areas that are not shielded from the mountains, um, and of course this doesn't make sense geographically. I totally am aware of that, but as you go higher and into the mountains, and I think I might have explained this even in the Create a World series, but it'll feel a lot more temperate in terms of the climate. So, you know, there's always that. But yeah, the backyard here is using a lot more tropical plants, even though like Blue Water Village has a lot of deciduous trees in it. I found, like, especially with the mid-century build that I did, and actually the bungalow, the fisherman's bungalow, like I added in a tropical palm tree there, and I was like, okay, this is actually something that helps to bring the world together. Like I just feel like it helps to connect Blue Water Village with the downtown core, with vegetation, and it seems so obvious, and probably a little too obvious, but it does help to like connect them together as being in similar ecosystems, or the same ecosystem, I suppose. And I have been deliberately using specific palm trees to make that connection. There's a palm tree from the Sunlit Tides world that I have been using, and I feel like first and foremost, it's a beautiful palm tree. So I don't mind the fact that I'm overusing it. Like it has a really beautiful green sheen to its leaves, and yeah, that's what I have mostly been using when I've really felt that I've needed to make like a pop of tropical flora here and there, or tropical vegetation here and there. So yeah, I was really happy with the way that the tropical plants were adding to this particular lot build, and just helping to convey again, we're still in that tropical ecosystem. Um, I also wanted to share as well that um, the build will have, like, Blue Water Village will use the same houses on lots. I think it's no secret here that Blue Water Village is pretty fucking huge. There's a lot of lots that I need to build out. And to be honest, like, building out a unique single family home for each of those lots, and we're talking well over 20 lots here. Like I want to say like there might even be like 30 lots. But building out like over 20 individual single family homes is not realistic, first and foremost, in a suburb. Like in suburbs, you do have copy and paste situations where they use the same house type over and over again. And I want to introduce like an element of that in Blue Water Village, firstly to help to help control like how much building I'm going to actually have to be doing, but also to reflect that reality within suburban neighborhoods. And I'll only do it like where I feel like I can get away with it. For example, like I don't think I would ever be able to get away with doing a copy and paste version of the mid-century modern build that I did. Um, but I could of course do like a whole different version of it. But anyways, I don't think I would be able to do a copy and paste version of that because it'd just be so obvious as to where you can point your finger at like where the other copy is. But for stuff like that, and for builds like the modern house build, I'd likely do variations of those builds, which has always been the plan going forward. And as for these McMansions, like even though I am slowly growing a repertoire and like an inventory of that, like I'll start using those as repeats throughout Blue Water Village. And I'm not trying to like convince you guys or try to talk myself out of creating unique builds, because I still want to absolutely like attempt a couple of floor plans here and there. But it does have to make sense within the context of Blue Water Village. And yeah, in suburbs, you have houses with the same floor plans all the time. I might change the colors of them, kind of like what I did here, but going forward, it's definitely going to be the case with the rest of the suburban neighborhood. Like I do in all of my builds, the bathrooms are going to all be done at once and at the same time. And the reason why is because I really don't like doing bathrooms. I don't know why that is. I've never really stopped to really think about why I don't like doing bathrooms. I guess I just find that they're a little too tedious, and I find that maybe I just haven't really found a design that I'm absolutely in love with. Like I get that they're necessary and everything in a home, and the design choice that I have ended up choosing, not only for this house but for many other houses and structures that I've built on this channel before. Like even though the layout is fine and there isn't anything wrong with the layout per se, it's just a very tedious job to do. And so whenever I'm always building these houses, I am taking into account like what the design is going to be for the bathrooms, and then I try to figure out like what I want to do with the bathrooms and how I want it to interact with the house. And in this case, I still wanted the bathrooms to be green. And whenever I make those design choices, I'm pretty confident with them going forward, especially with the bathrooms, just so I can get it all done in one go. Because for me, like it actually saves a little bit of time doing all the bathrooms, and you'll see me go through it one by one, starting with the floors and the walls, and then moving into the countertops, and then the toilets and the plumbing and all of that. So all of that's done at once, just mostly to save myself some time and also to just kind of keep me sane. And because everything is decorated the same, I don't have to really think about it. I just have to click and point, really. And yeah, bathrooms have never excited me, and I never really care for them. Even like in the public community lots that I have built on this channel, like the bathrooms are something that I don't really care for at all. And yeah, you can do a lot of good significant storytelling with the bathrooms. I mean, you could have, like, if I was building a community lot, you could have a bathroom that's like littered with graffiti or whatnot, and it can kind of tell a story like that. It kind of when thinking about like filthy, awful bathrooms in public spaces and all of that, I am reminded of the Candyman movie from the 90s there, and that was some peak 90s right there. Okay, but yeah, the let's get back into the video here, because I really did at one point struggle to find the right green countertops. Like the patterning and the textures of the stone patterns that we have accessible, that we have access to, just to me, like it just, nothing was really hitting right for that. So I really had to pretty much go through all of them to find whatever one I thought was going to work best for this bathroom. And I guess I did find that struggle with the martial arts academy build that I did as well, because I was really wanting to emulate jade as a stone and jade as a color in that build, and I really struggled to find like the right stone textures for that. So here I am, still finding the same struggle here. So not much has changed. And I'm not trying to necessarily blame it on the different stone patterns that we have access to. And yes, there is custom content out there to download. But for me, I found it to be a struggle. So I spent a significant time trying to find the right stone pattern that would work for the colors that I was trying to convey. And I was looking to have a darker and deeper brown in here just to give it a little more of a rustic feel. The way that I wanted the bathrooms to really interact with the house is that the rest of the house is going to be a lot more lighter, a lot more airier, and then the bathrooms are going to be a little more darker. Like it's just kind of in the broad scheme of things, like you're just adding an extra dimension an extra like layer of depth to the house. I'm not too sure if I'm even explaining that correctly, but to me, it felt like I was using the color green in a different way that was leaning more towards something that was a little deeper in terms of the undertones and something slightly a little more rustic. And we've been flirting with those themes throughout the entire build here, although we've been mostly prioritizing it feeling serene and peaceful and all of that. So with the bathrooms, I was able to just kind of not just flirt with some of those supplemental themes and ideas, but I was able to dive a little deeper into it and actually make it give it a voice, a real voice. And in this case, the voice is in the bathroom. I also like was thinking about it as I was recording and watching this video, and I should really try doing a house with different colors for different rooms. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not like I haven't technically done that before, but this time I'd be doing it intentionally, such as, making all the bathrooms yellow, for example, making, the living room and living spaces purple, and maybe making a blue kitchen, like just kind of having a little more fun with color schemes and all that. And to be quite honest, there is going to come a point where I will need to branch out and get a little more creative with how I build these homes here. So there's only so many different, well, there's actually hundreds of different decor styles one could do. So with all the lots that I have in Blue Water Village here, there's no reason why I can't have a little fun with, some sort of a non-serious theme here and there once in a while. So yeah, that's just an idea that I wanted to put out there. And if you guys have like suggestions of different different interiors that you would like me to build on the channel, feel free to drop it in the comment section of this video, because I'll definitely take a look at it and I will consider it. We've got a lot of homes to build out in Blue Water Village, and I have got to figure out what I'm doing with all of those. Just to, hop back to bathrooms again, I actually don't really build my bathrooms with tubs. And bathrooms really do increase the price of a home a lot. So I find that whenever I finish building them, like the price of the home is closer to what the price is going to end up being, which is kind of obvious saying it out loud like that. But, with the fixtures and with everything that goes into a bathroom, like if you choose to use counters, like that can bump up the expenses pretty significantly. But yeah, I don't really like using bathtubs. Even in real life, I don't care for bathtubs. I'd rather just have a really sleek shower. Whereas like a bathtub just takes up so much space. And, I have used them here and there on this channel just whenever I felt it called for it, but I'm never yearning or prioritizing bathtub space. I did really take my time furnishing this home, and I've mentioned it before that the length of this episode kind of surprises me, but yeah, I really did capture a lot of details here. And as we move on from the bathrooms into the spare bedroom there, I did decide to make the spare bedroom more like an in-law suite. And I decided to go a little more rustic and country with the look and feel for this one. I really wanted it to feel very warm, and I wanted to play with some textures there. I did, however, have to sacrifice the closet space for a little reading nook, but I felt, hey, this is probably the time to do that. Felt like a pretty fair trade-off, consider who would likely be living up here. And And yeah, I really leaned more into the rustic themes for this little in-law suite that I created, and I have to kind of, I have to say that the layout of this home really lent itself well to creating this little in-law suite. And to be fair though, like usually an in-law suite is found on the main level, so you're not going up so many stairs. It's just that the layout of this home really didn't really afford for that kind of in-law suite on the main level there. And although like if I was to ever reuse the design of this home again for the third time on this channel, it would be something I would consider experimenting with, like making the office the in-law suite, whereas the bedroom is the office. And yeah, so that's something that I could definitely experiment with when it comes to reusing this house if I ever were to. I'm not too sure if I would. And again, there are so many lots in Blue Water Village. There does have to be a certain sense of sameness, and I do want that reflected in some of the houses. So this could be a candidate for a third time use, but I don't think I would ever like this one would probably be used again for a third time on the other side of the main street of Blue Water Village, just so that it isn't so obvious to the player when you're looking at things from the map view. But that's a lot of future talk. I actually ended up changing the styles for the master bedroom. I changed it from being more rustic and I guess old fashioned and I guess a little country to being more modern. I felt like I was kind of getting a little too, I don't want to say carried away, but when I was doing the in-law suite, I was really using a lot of rustic themes and decor choices there, and I was probably just on the same train of thought. So you'll see me kind of switch up the master bedroom midway there for a more modern feel, something that still feels very modern, contemporary, and updated. And yeah, I'm still doing the green in the master bedroom. I feel like the master bedroom should be like the apex of the theme and the interior design choices that you are looking to convey within the home. Like it should be like another climax point of it. The other climax, of course, being the kitchen and I guess the living room and like the most public facing spaces, but to have like a private space that just kind of leads the charge in the themes and all that. I hope I'm making some sense here, you guys, but I always feel like the master bedroom has to have a very significant impact on your entire home's design choices. And so, yeah, that was a big reason why I wanted to switch it out for something that was taking on a more modern interpretation of the color green and of the serenity and peaceful vibes that I was going for this very home. And one thing that I have been really liking within these master bedroom within these master bedroom builds, I should say, is that it's kind of it is divided into three different quarters here, which is kind of which makes it Thursday, I guess. But anyways, we've got the sleeping quarters, we've got a full walk-in closet, and then of course we have the ensuite bathroom itself. So I've been really enjoying dividing up the primary suite into those three different uses. And specifically, like I found that I'm really enjoying the fact that I am making the sleeping quarters a lot smaller or just as big as the other room functions there, just where it makes sense. And the reason why I like that is because in your bedroom, like all you need really is just, okay, this is opening up a heck of a discussion here, but I feel like all you really need in a bedroom is just a bed that you can sleep on comfortably and a closet space and a dresser or two to store all of your clothes. And yeah, that really, that might even be it. But you can get away with, if you have a walk-in closet, just having those sleeping quarters just be a little bit smaller and a little more snug so that you can fit the bed that you need to in there and then use the rest of the space. That's at least how I have been interpreting it, is that, because this is the master bedroom and you've got a walk-in closet, you don't need so much space for your sleeping quarters because you've got so much more space that is accessible at your fingertips that you can literally just walk into your walk-in closet and get dressed and all that. I hope that's making sense, but I've been really enjoying doing master bedroom layouts here because it's kind of like a layout within a layout. So I've been having a lot of fun with it lately. Yeah. So I also wanted to mention that yeah, the walk-in closet and ensuite along with the sleeping quarters is really the formula that I'm really enjoying with the master bedroom there. I'm sorry, I kind of repeated myself there. Let's move on and talk about the nursery though, because the nursery I decided to change up the colors on this one. I changed it to a dark navy blue. I just really needed to break up the green, and you know, looking back on it, I probably could have changed it to a white color because I was trying to like lean more into the woods and everything, but the navy blue at the time was really appealing to me. And you know what, to be fair, it still looks nice. And you know, if that is going to be something that I'll edit in the Blue Water Village edit episode that will actually be coming sometime in the future, that might be the change that I make, is just changing the changing the blue to white if it looks good. I'll just kind of feel out how I feel about it, or maybe changing it to like a really minty white green, if anything. But at the time that I was building this nursery, I just really needed to depart away from the green, and so that's why I chose blue. I didn't want to choose red because then it would just look like a Christmas house. So I stayed away from red for that reason, and purple didn't come to mind, and yellow was something that I didn't want to use as well for the color palette for the nursery. So I just kind of I just leaned right into the blues, and the dark navy blue looks like it really helped. Yeah, it helped convey what I wanted it to convey. The saving grace here is that the nursery and how it relates to the rest of the home is actually just through the wood accents that it has. And so that kind of, it allows me to depart a little bit from this green color palette that I've been using, but it still ties it in together so that even though it is a different space, it isn't something that is going to necessarily feel garish or out of, you know, random. It's not going to feel random in the home. And you know, there might very well be a build where that actually happens, where I do every house every room randomly. So yeah, I'll have to open up the comments section for that one there. But anyways, I guess this is the video where I come up with all of my silly ideas for interior designs. And don't worry, like I have a lot more ideas for single family homes in Blue Water Village. It's just that today I seem to be coming up with all the silliest ones. Let's move on though. We are going to actually start getting into the basement a little bit, and that's because I was kind of on a roll. My idea with the bedroom in the basement is just that it's sort of like the teen/child version of the nursery on the second level there. So if you have like an older sim child or, you know, a teenager, this would likely be the bedroom that you would be sticking them into, which is the basement, which, you know, all teenagers end up in at one point or another. And yeah, that's really the story behind the bedroom in the basement. And yes, I have been reusing some of the art pics there, like the airplane pics, which I feel look really nice and kind of and suitable for the space. And yeah, I've been reusing that a little bit there, and it just kind of goes to show that I'm running out of objects, I suppose. I'm really trying to talk myself out of a custom content downloading spree, so I won't be doing that anytime soon. But yeah, the bedroom in the basement, I really liked how it turned out. It's the teen version of the nursery, and I still use the blues, so it kind of gives the basement a little bit of a break from all of the green that I'm about to use in it. So yeah, really enjoyed it. The laundry room though is kind of, the laundry room feels retro to me. Like it feels again like another little nod to the 90s, or you know, maybe it just feels a lot more rustic depending on like what kind of a context you want to apply to it. But I really enjoyed the laundry room and how it turned out. I just feel like it was a really cool space, and I just like the way that the more rustic elements really came together in the laundry room. It feels 90s to me. Like maybe it's just the wood panel that's screaming 90s to me. But anyways, right off the bat, I immediately knew that I wanted this basement to be more like a modern party basement. It was going to be another social hotspot here. So the first thing that I did was I decided to add a large TV, and I actually added in a hallway that it sits upon. And I have to say, like, I have a whole new respect for hallways. Firstly, they do the obvious in that they help with pedestrian pathways or sim pathways, I suppose, like within the home itself. But you can really do a lot with a hallway, and a hallway can really help to divide a space in a really classy way that just kind of adds a little more intrigue and dynamism to the home. And yeah, this is all like super obvious, but I guess I'm just taking a moment here to show my appreciation for hallways, which, you know, goes to show how interesting I am as a person. But the big opportunity here with this particular hallway was that I was able to add in more of those glass arched ways that I have been using on the main floor throughout. And so that really helps to just like, it really just helps to upgrade the space a lot, and it helps to bring some elements together, and it helps to make it feel more like a finished basement and a finished space. And so I really appreciated that hallway for being able to do that for me. So yeah, no, so yeah, I'm very much appreciative of that hallway and hallways in general. And actually, like, I find that as a player and as a builder, I am leaning away from open space concepts for the most part. And the reason being is that I really like the idea of rooms just kind of having their own identity as opposed to a shared identity. And yeah, don't get me wrong, I'll still build open space concepts whenever the time calls for it. It's just that the time hasn't called for it in a little while here. So it might call for it in the next speed build episode that I do. So yeah, we'll just kind of figure it out from there. But yeah, I've really been enjoying these more divided spaces. Even in this house itself, I would describe it as a partially open space. Like the living area is so huge, but the office is divided off and sequestered off. There's a hallway between the living room, the dining room, and the kitchen. So I guess really it's not an open space concept home. However, it's very airy. It flows from one to the other, and there's a lot of archways. So it isn't like one room is like closed off from the other. It's still accessible. It's just that there's real circulation space that you have to access before you get into the next room. For example, like the living room to the kitchen, you go through the hallways. But yeah, really enjoying these closed space concepts and closed space floor plans, but I do love a good open space floor plan once in a while, just whenever the build calls for it. So yeah, the basement here is a modern party basement, I suppose. I kind of default into that, like when it comes to basement builds, and you know what? It's something that I do keep top of mind is like what players would use this home for. So I'm thinking of parties, of course, and I'm also thinking of I guess Christmas or the holiday season in The Sims 3. Like you're going to need a place to put your tree. Well, in this home, there's a couple of places where that tree could go up. It really just depends on where the player wants to place it. I forget if the tree is something that's just placed randomly or if you can actually move it after the fact. But anyways, these are things that I keep in mind when designing these homes and when designing these spaces, is like what players are actually going to be using this home for, and if I just want to suggest that they use them for certain activities, or if I want to put like certain skill building objects to suggest that this is like a home for an artist, for example. And honestly, like this home could have used an easel, I suppose, but I just didn't feel like it fit any of the spaces, so I held off on using it. Um, but yeah, that's something that I do keep in mind when designing any kind of space, not just single family homes here. Is yeah. And so that is what brings us to the bar. So your party animal sims can really let loose in the basement and just have a good old time. And I do purposely use the late night mixology bars because I'm not sure if you know this, but in The Sims 3, if you have the late night expansion pack installed, and if you have one of these bars on your home lot, you can actually hire a mixologist as a service, and they will come and they will serve drinks, and everybody will be merry and have a good time. Like, it's perfect if you're hosting parties and you want a sim behind the bar, but not necessarily a sim that you control. So it's a great feature of the game, and the Sims 3 has so many of these like little features here and there that I think just make this game so this game is pretty timeless if you ask me. Like, yeah, it's stuck in the late 2009 like 2012 era for a lot of stuff, but it's pretty timeless in terms of like the functionality and the gameplay that you can get out of this game, and I find it very rewarding and very fun. And that's like the whole reason why I started the SimCity world, is because I didn't have access to the entire franchise's worth of an expansion pack within one world, and I wanted a big world. So, I was able to scratch that itch by doing this project, really. Speaking of which, I guess we should talk a little more about SimCity as a whole, and I guess my channel too. So, the next speed build that we're going to get into, we are going to finish off the Far East Square with a build that I am not sure how I'm going to approach, actually. It is an art gallery, and I've got a very specific reference point for it so that it could at least, so that I could at least stay on brand and within theme for the Far East Square neighborhood. However, I am just wondering how I'm going to approach it. I haven't filmed the episode at all, so I haven't even started the build, so I don't know how it turned out. But yeah, as for the rest of the channel, things this week have definitely been a little more sporadic and I guess chaotic in a way. I didn't get a Tuesday video out. I hopefully will have a video out on Thursday, and this one's coming out on Saturday. So for me, I am just kind of enjoying my summer at the moment, and there's really no excuse for it. I have I've kind of failed on the consistency part of things here, but yeah, like, despite that, I am still going strong with completing this project with The Sims 3, and that's something that I definitely want to see through to the end. And to be quite honest, if I wasn't filming and recording, audio and video for it, I probably would have been a lot further along within the SimCity project itself. It's just that, like, right now I'm juggling a couple of jobs, and my free time has been very limited these days, and I actually haven't been playing video games as much as I thought I was going to over the summer. So yeah, I've been really enjoying my summer nonetheless. And yeah, summer is my favorite season, and so I have been taking a lot of time just kind of spending it outside before good old winter comes back, which is my least favorite season. I make sure to leave space for those who do love winter, so if you are out there and you absolutely love the snow and love winter and love the cold, I won't take the space from you. In fact, I'll step aside so you can enjoy it. So, to each their own, right? But yeah, for me, I'm huge on the summer weather and everything. So you just trying to find any excuse to be outside at this point, and that has impacted the channel. So I'm not gonna lie on that. I guess that next year, like, what this is teaching me is that for summer 2026, I should probably not produce so many videos, or promise to produce so many videos throughout the summer months, because yeah, I'm just not going to prioritize playing video games and editing and everything in this very limited amount of spare time that I have these days. But anyways, that's a lesson for future me to hopefully learn from. I just want to take another moment here to say thank you so much for watching. If the tours aren't already playing, please stick around for them. I'm sure they are. And if you've enjoyed this video, feel free to like this video, comment below with any suggestions you have, and consider subscribing if you haven't already. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you have yourselves a wonderful day.